Business Cash with Rex. And coming up, some lessons from the big wheels in town. We'll answer how they did it and how your micro business can do it too. Micro DevOps. Save time to market and lower or eliminate your software deployment costs. Plus tips to protect your brand and reputation along the way. All this coming up on Business Cash with Rex. Good day and welcome to today's episode of Business Cash with me, Rex. I'm really happy today to demonstrate to you some tips and techniques for small business. Now let's learn some lessons from the big wheels in town. Their ROIs are much different than a small or micro business such as yours. So we scale things down significantly to have the economics of the solutions make sense. The solution of continuous availability of your store, your online, your application, that piece of technology that you've built for your customers to use, and that's how you connect with them. You don't want that solution to be unavailable. For example, when you're updating your application's operating system or platform, new features, new functions, whatever the case is, you want that solution that customer is using to be available continually. That notion is referred to as high availability. A lot of hosting applications have this built in, and this is the faces of your customer. This is what they look like when your solution isn't available. Now, we can avoid that, and today in Micro DevOps, I'm going to demonstrate to you how the big wheels do that, and I'm going to demonstrate how we can do that in a micro setting. All right, so today's solution is going to talk to those of you who have developed technology. Online applications generally need to be highly available. Why? We all know in today's environment that disappointed consumers can quickly lead to bad reviews, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Now here's some headlines where it didn't go so well. So that's what the big wheels in town try to avoid, these headlines. As I was putting this story together, I came across a DevOps introduction video, and it did a great job of explaining the concepts behind DevOps. It talks about problems and concepts you've either experienced or hopefully we can help you to avoid. So let's get started with this introduction. And at the end, I'm going to demonstrate a DevOps solution in a small operator context. All right, here we go.
Meet Dave. Dave works for a company whose success is dependent on its ability to offer new and exciting products to its online customers, faster than its competitors. Dave is a developer who writes code for new products, new features, security updates, and bug fixes. Unfortunately, Dave needs to wait weeks for his work to be placed into production. This delay increases the pressure of staying competitive because some competitors are able to deploy new products and features much faster. In addition, this delay makes it very challenging for Dave to manage both the code that is pending to be pushed into production and the development of the next feature that he is responsible for producing. When Dave's code is finally deployed into the production environment, occasionally unforeseen errors or problems occur. This mostly happens because Dave is focused on writing code for his development environment, and it's not identical to the production environment. Meet Dave's coworker Anna. Anna is a system administrator from the operations team. She is responsible for maintaining and assuring the uptime of the production environment. The number of servers that she needs to administer is constantly growing because her company continues to launch new products and customers are consuming more of their services. This increase of servers has caused some challenges for Anna. The tools that she used to administer a few servers are not as effective when used to administer a much larger volume of servers. This challenge affects how new code is deployed in her production environment. Usually, when new code is released, it takes a little massaging to fit into the production environment. This is why she requires code deployments to be scheduled and are only allowed once a month. Once new code is actually deployed, it's her responsibility to diagnose any errors or problems caused by these changes. Sometimes Anna feels as though the developers have tossed their work over the wall to her and her team. So, What can be done to help Dave and Anna work better? Ultimately, they want the same thing: happy customers. What if Dave, the developer, and Anna from operations worked better together, thought more alike, broke down silos, shared responsibilities? This would require them to change their mindset on how dev and ops work. So what is DevOps? DevOps integrates developers and operations teams in order to improve collaboration and productivity by automating infrastructure, automating workflows, and by continuously measuring application performance. If Anna and Dave's teams were more DevOps oriented, they would do a few things differently. They would place more focus on automation. DevOps teams try to automate everything, from testing of new code to how infrastructure is provisioned. They would write software in small chunks that are integrated, tested, monitored, and deployed, usually in hours, versus the traditional way of writing large chunks of software over weeks or months, and then do weeks or months of testing. Plus, they will have identical development and production environments based on the same configurations. Writing small chunks of code will allow them to increase the frequency of deployments and improve the time to deploy new code. It also enables them to adopt an iterative process to monitor, measure, and improve the code and operations every day. Improve their ability to respond to market needs or other things that impact software. Instead of building and configuring software plus infrastructure manually on an ad hoc basis, Anna and Dave's teams would write configuration management code that describes how things should be built. As a result, they will have the ability to build infrastructure at scale, to dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of servers in multiple locations using different types of hardware. Another change that a DevOps-oriented team would do is to use a source control system to help manage, track, and document all of the changes to both the application code and configuration management code. The change that Anna and Dave would implement is to adopt a discipline of application performance monitoring and optimization in almost real time. This will allow Dave and the rest of his developers to understand the performance impact of their changes. The ultimate goal is to have a production environment that gives their customers a great experience. So what benefit does having a DevOps-oriented team give Anna and Dave's company? Well, it allows them to increase the rate of software delivery and improves the company's time to market, potentially from months and weeks to days and hours. This will be a huge competitive advantage. It also allows them to maintain better business focus by automating their infrastructure so that they can focus on things that improve the business and their online content. They will spend more time on these activities that add more value to their organizations. When a company is able to build and offer better products, this means they have happier customers and happier developers. How does a DevOps-oriented team actually accomplish this? Well, as mentioned before, there needs to be a change in the mindset of the two groups that need to work closer together. The other component to the formula is getting the right tools. New tools are needed in this fast-paced world. They will need a tool that allows them to build and test code continuously. An example of this is Jenkins. They will need a tool for source control, such as GitHub. This will allow them to manage, track, and document all the changes to their application code and their configuration management code. They will need tools for configuration management, such as Chef, Puppet, and SaltStack. These tools will allow them to deploy applications in an automated fashion, maybe across hundreds or thousands of servers in different locations. They will also need new tools that allow them to continuously measure the performance of their environment and application. Generating, reading, and analyzing system logs is extremely helpful to monitor an environment. But now that many environments have hundreds or thousands of servers, new tools like New Relic are required to make sense of all this data. This will allow them to know how the entire application is performing and help them identify bottlenecks. In conclusion, DevOps is a new philosophy that can help software organizations innovate faster and be more responsive to business needs. It promotes collaboration between developers and operations, which improves quality of software development and more frequent software releases. Adopting the DevOps philosophy requires a new mindset, new tools, and new skills.
That introduction was produced by Rackspace.com and shared on YouTube. Thanks for that. So let's swing our chair around and turn that music off before we fall asleep. I'm first going to start the environment so we can have a look at it. while we also go to the AWS Beanstalk site. For this instance, Elastic Beanstalk is included with AWS and provides the automation for this micro DevOps solution. To set up this solution required approximately 10 to 15 hours of combined effort. First, developers to configure the application and repository, provide installation instructions, and the commands required to automate each step. On the ops side, their role was to script the entire build process and configure and test. And prior to Beanstalk, this small business depended on the development team entirely, who required unrestricted access to the production environment. It also required the end user or the UX to be disrupted. Deployments rarely went smoothly or as planned, and the process was completely unscalable and untenable. Today, a completely different result. Following a recent upgrade with 0 end-user disruptions, the project was on time and under budget. This upgrade in place was certainly not without issue. It was, however, seamless to the end user. So, in a future episode, we'll look closely at solution selection methods that you can use for DevOps or any solution you're considering for your business. So let's check back in with our development service startup. The users are anxious to get started with their testing. It's roughly about a 5-minute process from start to finish. One other thing you can do is you can schedule the environment to start and stop on a particular date and time. That's always convenient. It looks like everything is coming up green. Just a final check that the URL can be accessed and will be there. And that's how easy it is to start your environment in Elastic Beanstalk. This has been a closer look at how a micro DevOps solution can save you time to market, dollars, and possibly your reputation. And we'll see you next time on
Business Cash with Rex.